The Expendables 4 is bad. Like, really, really bad. So if you're a fan of the Expendables series, the 1, 2, and 3 here, like me, I love these movies because they combine sort of that old guard of action star with the new guard, and you get a lot of fun with these movies. And the Expendables 4 doesn't have any of that fun. It doesn't have any of it whatsoever. You get a tiny, small amount of it whenever Tony Jaa and Jason Statham are on screen together. But outside of that, this is just a lackluster sequel with a massive budget. It overuses green screens to a dizzying degree. You're watching this thinking, and I hate this criticism, but is it a PS2 game from 2005 or is it a movie in 2023? And it's a wonder how you can have effects that look this bad when the first three movies look so good. Those effects really just rear their ugly head anytime there's action on screen because it looks like everything was shot on a green screen. And I know there's COVID protocols and there's stuff like that. And the whole industry, hotness is the volume. But you couldn't shoot any of this on location. You couldn't find warehouses or a boat set to build to put it out there, and it just looks hokey. It looks fake. And when you consider that the movie costs so much and has not as many stars as the previous movie, so it's not like the movie cost a huge amount of money and you have to pay all these other stars. It's basically just Sylvester Stallone and Jason Statham that are taking that huge portion of whatever salaries they would be getting, and then the rest of the cast. Speaking of the rest of the cast, it makes an unbelievably dumb decision from a narrative standpoint in the first act, and it doesn't let up, and then it goes through and makes an even more confusing decision at the end of the film. So if you're sitting there watching it, don't come in late, because the people next to me did, and they were questioning, why is this happening? What is going on? Which you might actually be questioning yourself during the movie. The new cast members, 50 Cent, Megan Fox, Tony Jaa, are fine. They do their jobs, but they don't get enough to work with here, and they don't get any sort of special shine. They get introduced, and you're like, hey, cool, new characters, new Expendables. That's an awesome way to make a sequel. Yet they don't get anything to do because, one, the cool stuff that 50 Cent gets to do in the movie, all the other kid characters get to do as well. If he's sitting there sitting on a gun turret shooting at people on a truck, Jason Statham gets to do that in the same exact scene. It makes no sense to have these new characters and just not give them anything to do. The old Expendables, like Dolph Lundgren and Randy Couture, are sort of pushed off to the side as well. It makes no sense how you have a movie about the Expendables where it doesn't really focus on the Expendables. And don't get me started about Megan Fox. She's done enough action movies to earn some cool scenes in this movie, and it's very, very obvious that her character was written by a guy because she's hysterical. She has so many female stereotypes in her character, and she makes really, really dumb decisions throughout the film. And it's just very obvious that she was written by a guy, and she could have been written so much better. And once again, adding more new characters to the Expendables is the formula. You have the old guard, you add some new to that, and then you get a new movie. But here, the new characters don't get enough to shine, the old characters don't get enough to shine, and so nothing works. Nothing is cool, nothing is action-packed, and it just doesn't work. Even the kills. You would expect some of the kills to be pretty brutal. This is an R-rated movie. The fifth time you see a CGI knife go into somebody's throat and blood splatter everywhere, it loses its luster just a little bit. The blood and gore needs to be practical. Why is there this need to make CGI blood? You're paying somebody probably a lot less to make a physical effect than it is to digitally put it on and make it look like it's real when it doesn't look real, and it doesn't look real the fifth time they do it in the movie. Those all combined with the fact that it makes just an absolutely boneheaded narrative choice, and the story is about as paper thin as possible. I get it, it's the Expendables. You need an excuse for them to go out and kick ass, but even this excuse is pretty weak. And then when you add on top of all of that, you take away all of the cool locations that they're in, the cool set pieces that they're in the first three movies, and you put it on a boat for 70% of the movie. A boat that is drab and dreary and not colorful whatsoever and doesn't lend itself to really cool set pieces. And the set pieces that we do get are far-fetched even for the Expendables. Logically, I hate picking apart movies, but when you have a movie about a nuclear bomb that is on a boat, and then you have the characters blowing stuff up near the bomb, and you have people shooting missiles at the same boat that the bomb is on, it all falls apart, and it really makes for, by far, the weakest Expendables movie. This movie, I wouldn't even recommend watching it on cable. One, you're not going to be able to watch it in its full glory on cable because there's also a scene for people out there that want to sit through the entire movie. You get to see Megan Fox in a white tank top without a bra on. There you go. They're going to have to digitize, take that out if they show it on cable, because it's another just mind-numbing decision. Like, obviously, yeah, as a man, it's great. Oh, Megan Fox without a bra on. But it doesn't, it just comes out of nowhere. It's just there, and you're like, what the hell is going on? It just is a movie that lacks fun. It lacks nuance. It lacks everything that made these three movies great, that made Expendables 1 so novel and fun, 2 just this explosion, and 3 that slightly overbloated, but a massive amount of movie stars, and you go from that and you set it back. Terry Crews isn't even in the Expendables 4. So you don't have all the Expendables, and the original Expendables get nothing to work with. They get a piss joke. Randy Couture gets a piss joke. And a Pinky Winky joke. That's what he gets. As somebody who has been in the series the entire time and really showed off that, yeah, he can do some action stuff, Randy Couture gets a Pinky Winky joke. So go figure, the Expendables 4 is a misfire on all accounts. It lacks firepower. It lacks a good, coherent story. The dialogue between the characters makes them feel wooden. For characters that have been together forever, like Barney and Christmas, they act like they're reading out of textbooks. And that's no fault of the actors. 50 Cent and Megan Fox and Tony Jaa and all of the newcomers work with what they have, and what they get is not very good. Just like this movie is not very good, and I don't even recommend it for even the biggest Expendables fan. For people that want to watch it on cable or streaming, I don't really think it's worth your time. It's just sort of an empty husk of an action movie that is not very good. So in the end, through it all of those cliche statements about conclusions, the Expendables 4 quite simply sucks. So if you like this movie review and you want to see more movie reviews like this, check out this playlist that I have of all of my movie reviews that I've been doing on YouTube since I started. Check it out.